Welcome everybody to the show. What's up, Russell? How you doing, Jared Roy? Right now, you're looking at this badass team, the Mike Harmon race team. Mike Harmon Racing, the Patriotic Race team. They do a lot of stuff. They have, what's up, baby? Thanks for joining me, man. The Harmonator. These guys give back to veterans. They're partnered with Charlie Daniels. They're partnered with whom else? My bad. Craig the Sawman Sawyer, Veterans for Child Rescue. I think Athena Eyes is part of that group and been handling some stuff for them. Turn it down a little bit. Turn what down a little bit?
I don't know.
We got a little feedback on the mic. How's that? Let me pull this one down. I'm checking the audio, guys. Apologies for that. Sometimes it comes up like that. Now, there's a link in the description, guys. If you want to click on that, it can bring you up live on camera. What's up, Lady Liberty? Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey.
It can bring you up live on camera. It doesn't matter where you're at, where you're from. You give access to your microphone and your video camera on your phone, and it will give you straight access to the show, and we could bring you on. So you can show us what you're doing out where you are, and we would love to hear that and be a part of that. So if you have anything you want to contribute to tonight's show, it's going to be a little different than what you're used to. We're taking a different approach tonight in retrospect and talking to, we've had Dr. Mango Man on, Dr. Wayne Pickerling. We've been working with Tony Robbins' team, did a rebroadcast for them and some of their KBB training. Great fucking amazing news, guys. We just had an amazing donation come in from one of Lady Liberty's good friends, the family, that is going to be dropped off. Hey, how you doing, Joe Fellas? Thanks for joining. Going to be dropped off at a battered women's shelter here in Volusia County tomorrow. So we look forward to that. We have a big event coming up for Dig Liberty and the Dig Liberty Leprechaun Bash. No, we're not going to be beating midgets. But we are going to have fun. We're going to be at ACR Post 1. That's up to 745 US Highway 1 up by Holly Hill. And we're going to have a live show there. I think the Trees of Life are going to be joining us for there. There's going to be corned beef, cabbage, and greens there. There's going to be green beer. I think there's a raffle and bingo and everything else. So it's going to be a good time. Come out, get your dick pic. That's a pic with Dick Liberty. What's up, John Swan? And, enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. Enjoy the company. Enjoy the vibe. It's a good thing. And we greatly appreciate you come out and get support. We got new shirts out, like I'm wearing right now with the NASCAR logo. Thank you, Karen, and thank you, Team Harmon. Cannot wait to keep working with you. Actually talked to one of the veterans we met down there. How you doing, Mr. Hood News? Thanks for joining. That we had met along with some of the Medal of Honor winners and everything else. So it's just been an amazing year of abundance so far this year, 2020. And to continue this good streak, and because we've been talking about healing and because we've been talking about how you can transform yourself and the transformations that you see if you're part of this conscious global awakening that's going on, everywhere. You got the flat earth argument, you got the emotion arguments, you got the PTSD argument. It's good to see you again too, man. Dude, it's been so long, John Swan. Thank you for sounding good. I know you've been doing your own thing and kicking it and keeping the truth real. Love it out there, what you're doing. You can click the link in the description. We can bring you on camera at any point. And tonight it's going to be a really different transformational episode in healing through liberty is what we want to call it. This is going to kind of kick off where we're going with some of this stuff. Lady Liberty is going to be bringing you a bunch of different shows and talking about some of her journey and some of the tools that she used to get past this stuff. Because as we've been on this journey as of late, all the life transformation that's been going on, the deaths, the Christmas, the family, the celebration of life and love, which was unbelievably amazing. We've recognized our patterns. We recognize patterns all the time. well, we don't always recognize them. If we did, we'd be a lot more efficient at what we do. But sometimes, if you take a moment to reflect, you can recognize certain patterns, and that's what is going to be the preface for tonight's show. Idioms of Emotion. Idioms of Emotion. That's the title of tonight's show. Now I'm going to bring it up on the screen there. Wavy, welcome back. You've been in and out a while. How you been? What's going on? What do you think about tonight's topic, idioms of emotion? What does that even mean to you?
Well, first, that means, what does that even mean?
What does that even mean? Well, right off the bat, what does that even mean? I don't know. What's he say, kid?
My first question is, what does that even mean? Can you use it in a sentence?
Tonight, we will be talking about idioms of emotion.
Origin of language?
Hebrew.
Oh, yeah, I'm Christian.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are you?
Yeah.
That's regardless. Okay, an idiom is basically, I'm going to bring it up on screen here. This is the definition of an idiom. Idiom, it's a noun. It's countable and uncountable. Plural idioms are idiomata. Now, countable, notice where it says noun, idiom, countable and uncountable. There's one other thing in this world where you have things that are mutable and unmutable, or countable and uncountable. And those are the 7 universal laws, right? So 3 of them are countable, immutable, meaning they will not go away, they will not change regardless of the situations, who's involved, or whatever the case may be, how you define it. The other 4 are mutable, which means uncountable, which means they can actually be interchanged, much like the idiom used in language can be interchanged to have a different neurolinguistical effect on behavior, on perception, on reaction. So you see where we're going with this. Huh? You can turn it on, that's cool. Thank you for asking that. So now that we know that an idiom is a noun, I'm going to define and show you where it comes from. A language or language variety, specifically a restricted dialect used in a given historical period context. Why would I reference, hey, what's up, Matt Turner? Thanks for joining. Why would I reference this when we're talking about language? Because we've been talking about prostitution of language. We've been talking about all this other shit and how it's been thrown around and manipulated to go inside with the, let's say, MK Ultra project and the mind control and the AI actually you working for them instead of they working for you, as many people would argue. So why would I highlight that in when it comes to communication? You got any idea there, Wavy?
You said, man, the communication is the key. I mean, you have 1,000 different ways to say one word, and yet that one word can mean something different to everybody who hears it or says it.
Correct, based off their culture, based off their understanding of history, based off their experiences and the environments and the social structures they grew up in. So you're absolutely on point. Thank you for highlighting that. The other part too I want to say is that an idiom is an established expression whose meaning is not deducible from the literal meanings of its component words, often particular to a given language, meaning it has so many meanings that you cannot actually deduce the meaning that it's being applied in the language as it's applied. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the Bible is an excellent reference and representation of that. Because you have such tremendous stories with such vivid language and metaphorical language that it's painting a picture as they could best describe it in a story to relay a principle, which is what we're going to end on tonight, a principle. And it's going to be the life principle, okay? So that's where we're going tonight. We're going to talk about idioms of emotion. We're going to talk about how those idioms and those emotions can trigger and make things happen differently for you. And we're going to show you and highlight a couple things that you could potentially do so that you won't have to deal with such issues and you can regain and overstand your emotions. All right? How you feel about that, bud? I don't give a shit because we doing it anyway, motherfucker.
This word just sounds like idiot a lot.
Idiot. Well,
Like,
you gotta be aware of the useful idiots, that's for sure.
Hmm.
All right, so idioms of emotion. Oops, that one was a double skip there. That was a double skip there. Why did all this? Ask yourself right now, thinking about the idioms, thinking about your emotions, think about how you react to something. Do you get defensive? Do you feel attacked? Are you uncertain? Do you have some certainty? You know, all those things have an impact. And you're right, Shar. Your own reality of environment influences. Your perception of reality influence. Rocky D's, thanks for joining. And bring it sick, Dick. We will. We'll bring it sick as fuck. Point being, your perception, and regardless, even this episode right here tonight could be used as a prime example, and it would apply universally to everybody. And here's why I say that. When I present information to you, and it's structured in a way that asks you these particular questions about yourself, like this one, for example. What am I doing here now? Why are you here right now watching Dick Liberty Show, learning about the idioms of emotion? All right? Where are you at right now in your life? What has led you to this quest or desire of understanding? You know. Any clues? You want to hear? You want to add in? Fear, single greatest controlling emotion, controls over 90% of the population. You are absolutely right, John. And I'm glad you brought that up because we had to talk about that last night. Fear is self-created. Fear is your ego trying to trick you and convince you that it's okay to doubt yourself. If you spend as much time telling yourself it's okay to love yourself and it's okay to try new things and be out of your comfort zone, fear would go away. You can change your neuroprogramming and your neurolinguistical programming through the use of your language simply by swapping words out in everyday sentences. And you do that for, what's it take? Anywhere from 14 to 21 days to develop a new habit. Right? And if you can change your entire habit and your entire state by simply substituting one word that has a more positive meaning or less emotional response meaning, you can accomplish your goal much faster.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much for bringing it up. Fear. What are some of the things that produce this fear, John? What are some of the things that produce this fear? Why do people let their environment and their experience generate fear versus certainty? That would be the question I asked.
Well, I'm going to answer that to what I feel the reason is. So, fear. Okay, so people have, this thing of wanting to be in control, wanting to have an order in life, wanting to know what's going to happen. So,
do you know why? Because that meets one of your 6 human needs. That meets the need of certainty. So when you feel like you have control, you feel certain that you're going to be okay in the situation.
Yeah.
But continue, not to interrupt. I apologize.
I don't know. Everybody looks at what they say human needs are differently because we actually know what we need to be alive, but what do we need to make us feel alive? We want to know what's going on. So people have fear from not knowing, not knowing what's going to happen. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get a job tomorrow.
John Son said it's propaganda that is contributing and distributing to this fear. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Tomatoes. What do you mean by that? Now, I gotta ask that because what is propaganda to you? That's a very great point, John. Thank you.
I mean, man, let's look at it like this. I don't believe anybody today can 100% say they are in control of their feelings and their emotions in their world. Nobody's sitting in a comfortable place. And why I feel I can say that so confidently is because, look how people freak out when the news tells them something.
Right. Do you think that news media is a form of propaganda?
What else? What else could it be?
Seems to be effective, apparently, huh?
Yeah, because of fear. Fear is their number one tool. We're scared to be invaded, so we go and invade other people before they get a chance to, and all this stuff. Oh, we can't do a certain thing. Look, now we gotta buy masks and walk around with a fucking mask on because they let out a virus.
Right.
Like, it's fear. This is how they control people. This is how they get people to do what they want. They add the fear, then they come and play the hero, and then it's like, all right, well, follow
Then they
me
play the
now.
hero, right? They do this right here. So if you look over on the screen, it says we still got the definition of idiom up there for those of you just joining us and want to check it out. And the number 4 point we have about this, what the government world or what the world needs now is a government-free zone. It's a very good observation, and I'd love to hear how you'd like to run that free zone.
Right.
If there'd be any governing laws whatsoever outside of natural laws, and/or is there any laws inside of the laws that would be created to handle situations? Miss Liberty,
Yes.
can you hand us an ash receptacle from the side of the bed, please? Thank you. Sorry for that break, but government-free zone, right? And we're talking about propaganda, and we're talking about how propaganda is used to control some of the emotions, and we're talking about the idioms of emotion and how it's an artistic style, for an example, in art, architecture, or music. An instance of such a style use in language. How is language an artistic style? I mean, can I ask you that? I already know. Do you know? Only thing I'm afraid of right now is the big C. Russell, yeah, we're going to talk about that here. And I want you to pay attention to what we're talking about, especially because this could apply and does apply to you. I can't. Yes, you change the language. You have to change the language, and we're going to get into that because when you look at any contract, you look at any marketing, you look at any TV show, you look at any script, you look at anything that's put in production for you to consume visually with your visual senses, your auditory senses, two that connect to you, and your brain and how you perceive things. You can understand how the language is used through idioms that relate to specific historical, cultural periods, which the context of that cultural period is often lost in the translation of today's modern understanding because our culture has shifted over the last 25, 50 years. We don't have the same culture we had 50 years ago when everybody was bowing and bleeding and believing in the flag, as it represented itself. It's shifted. So why would the language shift is they're using it as an art to string and initiate those emotions from the times when the culture was different. If you understand what I'm saying. Just like doctors use certain language to diagnose you, and then you can become someone who is a patient that has developed the prognosis diagnosation syndrome, where they believe the diagnosis versus believing in themselves, and then they die from the diagnosis.
Right.
Then you have doctors like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who he got hit on his bike, broke 6 vertebrae in his back, refused surgery, refused medicine, refused the diagnosis that he would never walk again, and completely transformed himself, infused and healed himself through purely mind power. So it's powerful stuff. Russell, that applies to you and your cancer, and I'm so sorry to hear you have cancer. Welcome, Michael. I don't know how much you want to share, but you two can click on the link and we'll talk about that, and we can talk about how the idioms of emotion apply to your situation in particular as well. So, as we've talked about this in these idioms of language, I want you to take a second, and we kind of asked this question a little bit earlier, but I really want you to think about it for a second. I want you to ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing? All right. Where do I want to go? What am I doing? How did I get here? What decisions did I make that brought me here? Is there a situation you ever been in or a place you ever been in, either mentally, spiritually, or physically, Wavy, that you didn't want to be in, or you thought yourself, how the fuck did I get here?
Oh, yeah.
You want to share it?
Oh, no.
No, not at all, huh? Okay, fair enough.
For my safety.
For what?
For my safety. Oh, no.
That's
nah,
funny.
but yeah, I've definitely been in plenty of situations where I was just like, man, fuck. It's gotta be something else.
Gotta be something else, huh?
It's gotta be something else. That's the times when you sit down and really start thinking about what you believe in, and try to recognize what you have in yourself. Okay, what can I do? What am I good at? What are my strengths? Can they be stronger? Is it a power, or is it just something I can do? Because
Stay away from the chemo. Mind power got me out of the wheelchair. Okay, continue.
Yep, absolutely. And my power got Russell dancing and moving over here.
Yeah.
So that mind power is a hell of a thing.
Lady Liberty power.
Lady Liberty power.
Oh yeah, that liberty power.
Yeah, she's got some fucking healing power, man. I can't even express to you how amazing it is.
Yeah, keep it to yourself, buddy.
Hey, at ease, boyo. We're not talking about that shit.
I don't
Might
know.
not think that.
Yeah. Anyway,
I lived it.
Russell, you said that your mind power has gotten you out of a wheelchair already, and
Yes.
I've already refused VA. Not happy, and you shouldn't be, and you can continue to refuse it. But what I want you to do is I want you to focus on meditation. I want you to focus on yourself. I want you to focus on your breathing while you meditate. I want you to take the time to separate yourself spatially in your brain from everything that you think is and become nothing. Become absolutely nothing. Okay? And enjoy it. And it's scary at first. It'll take you out of your comfort zone. It'll definitely take you out of your comfort zone. But when you can master being comfortable, completely comfortable when you're out of your comfort zone, that's when you master balance. That's when you master balance. Okay?
Keep saying master B words, and I'm just waiting for you to say it. Saying, I don't know, you say masturbating and master balance, and I'm just waiting for him to say masturbating.
No, I'm not going to say masturbating. I mean,
right.
some people, I guess, can balance that way. That's not my particular way of balancing. But anyway.
You definitely balance out.
You can balance out, that's for sure. I'm going to go back to our other screen here and bring you back up here when we get to this next piece. So give me 1 sec, sorry. So we're going to be hiring camera people here soon, I hope. Anyway, if you want a job, hit me up. Let's make something happen here. All right, back to the point. So yeah, you're right. Now, what was it? What triggered you in that situation? Contact you later. I think I have a lot of good articles on my page. Yes, please, we will contact him, Russell. If you have anything you want me to put out there, John, let me know. I'll be happy to do it. What are some of the things when we go? Okay, so you get in this situation, right? And you hated it, never want to do it again. How many times have you overlooked the wisdom that comes from those experiences? You ever done that?
Yeah.
Like, you get in a situation, you have a disconnect, you both get defensive, you both go at each other, and then you're trying to do everything you could to avoid that very outcome, and then turn right around, and a week later, same thing happens again, kind of like a cycle. How's that happen to you?
It's happened just like that. And the thing about it is, that's a sign.
What is a sign of?
It's a sign of, like, whether you want to believe it's your vibe and energy or whatever you want to believe. There's something telling you that you and this person are just, you guys are two totally opposite things that don't go together. Because I've continuously tried to be somebody's friend who it just was always ended bad for me. Like, just by having a friendship, like, it always ended bad for me. It's just like, man, you know what? We always go through the same thing. We end up, arguing about stupid shit, and then coming back later on being friends, and then arguing about stupid shit, and come back. And that's just like relationships and everything else. When you have with people in your life, it's toxic when you have to do that constantly with a person because you're putting so much energy into that where it should be in other parts of your life. So,
well, okay, so you kind of tied two things together there, and I'm going to say it like this. You kind of demonstrated a situation from the friend base, and then you demonstrated a situation from a couple's base. What I'm highlighting is, like, that's a pattern. Like, have you noticed it's a pattern of behavior?
yeah.
So if it's a pattern of behavior, does that mean it's not good for you two to be together? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. And I say that because I say this: when you recognize patterns, right, and you recognize, say, your language pattern and how you communicate with that person, and there's a real issue, but the first thing you start fighting about is the dishes or something else like that, and that brings to the other issue because you have to figure out how to actually communicate about what you need to talk about.
Right.
So what I'm saying in relation to this in the idioms piece is if you take a moment and you can actually, you know, breathe or say, you know, instead of get like real pissed off and everything, just take a second and breathe, pause, just nice deep breath, breathe it out, reset, you know, say that's inconvenient in your head or say something funny in your head like pig fucker to get you a switch, and then let it back down, bring it down a second. And then say, okay, I misspoke. So I really understand this. This is obviously important to you. Please talk to me about it. Tell me exactly what you mean. And then don't say a word. Don't say, you ever tried that approach?
It usually takes me weed to do that. But yeah. Yeah, I get down to those points. But like I said, it's that really depends on the person because yeah, it may not be bad if you notice the cycle and there's a cycle because it can be changed, it can be altered. But that depends on the person.
Hey,
the
Julie,
person is willing to change. Are they willing to notice the cycle, or will you bring up the cycle and the cycle will just be an excuse? Or
I think that they would only be willing to change or only be willing to acknowledge it if you acknowledge the same defaults that they point out in you. And you know, and I think that's where a disconnect is created because a lot of times when you think about your childhood, we're talking about culture, we're talking about how kids were raised, we're talking, you know, look at the way we were raised versus the way this generation is raised. And look at the way the generation before us was raised versus, and look at the shift that's taken place, the control and the structure and the respect that the parents used to hold is now controlled and puppeteered by the children with threats to calls for DCS and oh my daddy abused me or all this shit. And now you're guilty before innocent all day of the week. We know that. But the point of what I'm saying is like the communication piece right there. You get defensive because all of those experiences. I've always said you can learn just as much from a bad experience, if not more, as you can from a good experience.
right.
And the reason I say that is because that bad experience, based off the emotion it triggered when you were receiving it and perceiving it, made you not want it, made you not like it, made you uncomfortable, made you hate it, right? So you don't want to project that onto anyone else. I would hope not. Because if you didn't like it, I don't think anybody else is going to like it. So you can actually learn and see the tools from that situation and that experience that give you the knowledge of how to be present in the moment and not make those mistakes without realizing it, I guess is what I'm getting at. So anyway, point being, don't forget the knowledge that these bad experiences can actually apply to you, okay? That's where your wisdom comes from. Doesn't mean your destiny is based off your environment or your past, because it's absolutely not. Unless you focus on your past and you're always complaining about the same thing that never seems to work, then maybe if you quit focusing your energy on the same thing that never seems to work, you won't be complaining about the same shit that never seems to work.
Yeah.
Just saying. But what do I know? I'm a stoner. So, point being, so by reflecting on where you've been in your past and experiences, you can tap a resource of knowledge you may not even realize that you have. Okay? Because why do you have things like post-traumatic stress? Because when you talk about those feelings and you talk about the imagery associated to those feelings, it triggers the emotion to bring you back to that place when you experience those feelings. Right?
Okay.
So what does that teach you? Does that teach you anything? Does anybody out there, any listeners, any viewers, anybody get a lesson from what I'm saying right now? Go figure your habits and change for habits for the best. It's right. You can go find your habits, recognize your patterns, look at your patterns. Okay, we all have patterns, you know, and part of military teaching they do specifically when you're in different countries and you're planning operations is you never go the same route, you never go the same pattern because they identify the patterns, then they plant the IEDs, and then they blow you up and you get fucked up, and that's not cool. All right, so I guarantee you, if I asked you right now, which way do you drive to work every day? You'd tell me the same fucking way you go every single day. So if I'm somebody, not that I am, but if there's somebody, a terrorist, someone who wants to rob, someone who is a crook, a criminal, a thief, whatever, all they have to do is watch your pattern for 2 weeks. And they're going to know what time you wake up. They're going to know what time you have a cup of coffee, your morning cup of dick.
Hey,
That's an inside joke. You guys find about that later, maybe.
morning cup of dick, huh?
Hey, tell me about that. No, they're gonna know your pattern. They're gonna know everything about you. So if they want to, you made yourself an easy target. Your emotional patterns, your behavioral patterns, make you yourself an easy target for yourself. That's why you're best critic. That's why you're your worst sniper. That's why you're your own worst enemy. That's why you sabotage yourself. Hey, Roy Blum, thanks for joining. That's why you sabotage yourself and don't even realize you sabotage yourself. How many times you go into something and you set this super huge high expectation, right? And you're just so excited, and I get it. It's great to be excited. And you got to, but you got to focus that energy, because if you don't focus that energy and you're super excited and you set the super high expectation, you're never going to meet it. You are never going to meet it. You're going to miss everything in a moment. And you're absolutely shooting yourself in the fucking foot, and you're wondering why you can't feel fulfilled every time you try to do what you think you're passionate about. It's right on for me at this point in my life, working on one thing at a time instead of all at once. That's what you do. And when you do that, let me see if I can't repost that link for you. When you do that, you can do it as simply by changing your language. You change your language, you're focusing your language, you're rewiring your brain, and your actions will change to match the language you use and the emotion that you set, the meaning that you set to the emotion in that language. Let me see if I can't get that link back up for you, because I would love to have you on, man. I'm going to copy that. It's going to take me just a second to do that. Wavy, what are you getting so far out of this? Are you getting anything at all out of this? Talk for a second, man. I feel like I've been just running shit. Talk, son, bitch.
Here I come. All right, Paul.
Damn.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely I'm glad we are talking about this, because right now is, the perfect example of fear and of people not knowing uncertainty. Like it's every day you hear they got the fear so fucking tight on people that every day, no matter who it is, it could be a homeless person, they're gonna be telling you about coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a case here now, and there's a case there now.
There's 6-8 cases here now, actually.
Yeah, so it's just like they got everybody talking about the same fucking thing everywhere. Everywhere. It's so it's happening now. The stuff we're talking about is happening now, and this make a lot of people step back and look at their life like, man, you know what? Do I live in fear all the time? Am I manifesting bad things because of what I'm expecting? Like, and that's what I had to learn in my life too. Like, you can't always. I know things can happen, plans change,
Right.
But I always expect the best, and I always expect the best. And sometimes, it bites me in the ass, because when it doesn't happen, I'm super upset about it. Like, oh man, well, I should have fucking even expected this shit. But hey. Sometimes you gotta roll the punches. Right now, if I knew what was gonna happen, I'd probably be more mad. Like, if I knew what was gonna happen next week, maybe next week my fucking tire might go. I'm gonna be mad all this fucking week until next week comes.
See, right now, you literally just described 2 out of the 3 innate human needs. Every person, every human being, anybody who has a fucking feeling on this planet has 6 needs, all right? One of them being the certainty, you talked about it twice, and one of them being the uncertainty. You just talked about it there. Because you're right. If you knew everything that was going to happen, you would become bored as fuck.
They say
Would you not?
you hope for the best and expect
Yeah.
the worst.
Hope for the best and plan for the worst is what they teach in the military,
Yeah.
which is kind of an oxymoronic thing, and you're always set up for a failure in that percentage.
You're planning.
No. See, and here's what I say.
Expectations are
here's-
unrealistic,
here's
so
what
that's
I'm-
why.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm about to say. I've told this to a lot of vets, and a lot of vets, it's something I've done. A lot of vets have said to me, "Hey, man, that actually really works. Thank you for telling me that." And I tell them this: say, look, go through your whole plan. Military taught you a lot of fucking shit, okay? And that's good shit. You got a lot of tools you don't even realize. You just haven't figured out how to transfer them to civilian application. So, you know how you have PTS, right? Post-traumatic stress. And you're uncomfortable going to Walmart. You're uncomfortable going to places with fireworks and loud noises, okay? So what you do, you reprogram the brain. You retie the emotion to that. So you can slowly, you plan for everything, just like you did in the military. You plan for all of it. Sorry, I got disconnected for a second. You plan for all of it. I resent the link in Messenger, John. Let me know if that works. You plan for everything just like you would for an op, right? The only thing you don't add to your plan, you go through your objective, you go through kind of what you want to do. You analyze the situation and the potentials of what could happen in that situation, right? And then normally you would have your battle drills, which are like how you would react to certain situations in combat. So unconsciously, you actually have emotional battle drills that are tied to your perception of situation. So you know you're going to encounter, let's say, someone like Scooby Chris. Would you have a predetermined reactionary thing to that?
Predetermined? Hell yeah, I know I'm gonna laugh when I see him.
Huh?
I know I'm gonna laugh when I see him.
You know you're gonna laugh when you see it?
Yeah. So yeah, that's just gonna happen.
Well, okay.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna laugh. I'm just gonna laugh. So,
I got you.
yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is you've already got. If he acts this way, you already know. All right, fuck this. I'm out. I'm leaving. Right?
Yeah.
I ain't dealing with this shit. I'm done.
What's
Okay.
good?
So what I'm saying is you can analyze everything you're going to go to, the events you want to attend, the crowds you want to hang out with. You can analyze all that. You can analyze the venue it's at. You can know how many exits there are. You can know what the people capacity is. You can know where the vantage points are. You can do all that stuff. Some of you guys still love that stuff. It makes you feel engaged. They're cool. Connected to this channel. Hey, what's up, Daniel? Let me see. I'm just going to create a brand new one, and we'll get you on here. And point being, you can do all that stuff, and you should do all that stuff, okay? Because that's what you're comfortable with. That's what you know. To handle the uncertainties, though, what I think you should do, and it'll make you a much better tactician, is instead of pre-constructing the battle drill, do your full risk analysis. You determine whether the risk is well enough for you to take, and if it is, you go out, you take yourself out, make sure it's on a good day, so you're having a good day. And then you stay in that moment. Don't think about any battle drill. Don't think about anything else. Because that's when you're able to make it become a reality that then is not now. This is not that. Does that make sense? Did I explain it right? Or?
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to add this to the call real quick. So what do you got to add to that, man?
I mean, right on the head with it, man. It's you gotta change the way that you deal with things.
So give me an example of some language you would change that you think could change your pattern of behavior.
English.
Yeah, what like? So do you get pissed off when people cut you off on the road?
I guess, yeah.
What do you say? You like, motherfucker? What the fuck? Like, talk, real talk.
Man, these motherfuckers tripping.
Okay. So it's not really like a piss. It's kind of like a passive aggressive thing.
It's just like a recognizing idiot thing.
Right.
It's like, oh, what an asshole. Okay, fucking idiot. Cool. And then back to my day.
And then back to your day.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you don't give it much. My
Yeah.
computer's being really slow.
Yeah, I rarely try to give,
There's a new link for you, John Swan.
Too much attention.
Yeah, and why don't you do that?
Because it feeds me.
It feeds it, and you notice that develops a bad pattern of behavior, right? Santa Mundo. Point being, we've talked about that enough. All right. We talked about, do you have patterns? Okay. Yes, we all have patterns. We've talked about that. How has your emotion contributed to your pattern? Answer me that. How has your emotion contributed to some of your patterns?
Well, I mean, anger. Of course, there's things that can set me off, and if so, it's like.
So give me an example of something that would set you off.
God damn it, you.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
On all my goddamn business or what?
No, I just want to know. I want to know the tools you got, bro.
It's like an episode of Jerry Springer and shit.
Yeah, straight Daytona style.
Nah, but all right. So one time, I'm at the gas station and I hold the door for this guy. He comes in the store or whatever, and he doesn't say nothing, which I really don't care. But then when he's coming out, I was in the car doing something. And when he's coming out, somebody was in front of him, didn't hold the door for him, and he's like, "Damn, can't hold the door for a motherfucker," and that made me so mad because I was like, "Motherfucker, you couldn't even be appreciative for somebody who held the door for you." And now you want somebody to hold the door for you? That's like, who the fuck owes you a hold the door, nigga? Like, hold your breath, motherfucker.
Right.
But yeah, that type of shit just.
Hey, try one more time, John.
So, I could have reacted and said something to the person, but also, I could have been like, you know what, I know everybody ain't all there sometimes.
Right.
So, I could have not let it really bother me like that, but it kind of bothered me a little bit.
It did bother you, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens, man. We're all human, and it definitely bothers all of us sometimes. For sure. Like, it would bother me if I dropped that.
Bothering me, you weren't thinking about that.
Wasn't what? Now we got the big camera glitch. That's cool. Gotta love that, right? And go there. Cool. And boom. Got it.
It's good to hear, Russell.
What do you say?
Said, mine has changed. I'm not the angry dad I used to be, confirmed by my son.
Awesome.
Huh?
That is awesome. What are some of the tools you use to get that accomplished, Jim? Russell?
Oh, Rusty boy.
Rusty boyo. You good on that?
Rusty boy?
I said Rusty boyo.
What was it?
All right, anyway.
Rusty boy?
No, definitely not. Anyway, get back on topic. I want to close this out. So, we just heard about how emotions contributed to you. It's definitely contributed to me, and especially waking up, not knowing who you are, what you are, having no emotion. I don't even know what the fuck emotion is. Waking up like a little infant, 35-year-old body is kind of crazy. But it is what it is. I could have chose to play the pity party and build this pity wall and do all this other shit, or hey, oh yeah, okay, doc, I'm not gonna walk because I want to sit in a wheelchair for the rest of my life and have hemorrhoids. But I said, no, fuck that. I'll figure out how to talk. I'll figure out how to walk. I'll write shit down and we'll get somewhere. And here it is, And it's these lessons that I've learned from looking at my patterns in the last few months. Like really, really taking a look at them. We've talked about sitting with the true sword. We've talked about, really making a change and having an impact, powerful impact on yourself, because it brings the positivity. You can rechannel energy. You don't have to accept all energy. And I want you to think about that when you contemplate tonight how your emotion has contributed to your patterns. You don't have to accept all energy. You can rechannel your energy. You can rechannel any energy. You can. Russell's talking about meditation. I do a lot of meditation, do a lot of hyper-focused meditation, Lady Liberty does a lot of meditation. We do yoga, all that stuff. There's a purpose to the breath and to breathing, you know. And it can make a difference. You can totally shift the outcome of a situation, and it can become very fluent with you once you attain that balance and you're able to harness that energy. So on that note, I want to say, think about where your energy flows. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. That's, something Tony Robbins has said. I know plenty of you have heard it before. I know I've said it before. I want you to really experiment with that, especially you, Russell. And I'd love for you to do a video documentary of it. Just when you get up in the morning, man, just get up and take a moment, take an hour to yourself. Don't talk to nobody. Don't look at your phone. Don't do that shit, because you're robbing yourself of your own moment. And sometimes you need to have your own moment. It helps you with your clarity. If you take your time in your meditation, your breathing, you'll achieve more clarity, you'll oxygenate, you'll be able to reinvigorate, and it'll contribute tremendously to the rewiring ability of your brain. And think about the language it changes. Think about the words you say when you describe something. Think about the emotion that draws. Think even so much about how you inflect your voice and when you pause, because it makes a huge difference. It does. If you don't believe me, I challenge you to try it. Prove me wrong. # change my mind. Whatever he says. Anyway, we're going to close it out for tonight. I want to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to sit here and serve you and talk with you. Too bad nobody got on, but we definitely encourage it. Thank you for the shares, the views, the loves, the likes, everything. Make sure you follow. Please follow. We've been talking with NASCAR. I know. What's up, Joe Bob? How you doing, man? I know that the Mike Harmon team, Mike Harmon Racing, has some new stuff coming out. I can't tell you what it is yet, but I know it'll be coming out here soon. We have Bike Week concluding. We're going to be going out at some point tomorrow and doing some filming and showing you some live spots with some new tech toy test outs with our 360 cam and everything else. So it'll be a good surprise, interesting. And then tomorrow we'll be announcing where we're going to announce the Friday Orlando Magic ticket giveaway. I actually have 2 sets of 2 tickets. So if you got a group of 4, you're out here for close out Bike Week, whatever you're doing, we'll announce the place on Wednesday where we're going to be giving away those tickets. So come out, do a meet and greet, say hi to Mr. or Mrs. Beautiful Lady Liberty. She's totally awesome. You guys love her. You'll get to meet Wavy and the Hood News crew. Everything will be fucking absolutely amazing. Cannot wait. Totally looking forward to it. You guys are awesome. So on that note, I gotta say thank you to Hood News Global. Thank you to Mr. June. Thank you to Dr. Livingston. Thank you to Homeboy Marketing Guru. You know who you are. Thank you to Mr. Dr. Wayne Pinkerling. He's been awesome. I'm going to close out with a couple of the guys so that you can take a look at them. Got to say thank you to James and the new music video. It's totally fucking rad. If you have not seen it, you need to go check it out for sure. And on that note, we're going to close it out. So here, enjoy Mike Harmon and Mike Harmon Racing. And we'll follow up with the March 2020 challenges. And we'll end it out with good old Mega Man, Dr. Wayne Pickering. Peace.
You had an agreeable sense of the macabre to any delirium.
This could be my lullaby. To my lover, lift me up so I. This could be my lullaby. To the one who always treats me right. This could be my lullaby. It's so right. Whoa, ow, ow. It feels so right. Come to me, mon ami. Let us discover our unity. What will be will always be. Love is a light just shining down on me. Close your eyes and hold me tight. Let me keep your body warm at night. At sunrise, what a sight. It's your beauty that keeps me in the fight. That's right. Whoa, ow, ow. It feels so right. This could be my lullaby. To my lover, lift me up so I. This could be my lullaby. To the one who always treats me right. This could be my lullaby. It's so right. Whoa, ow, ow. It feels so right. Life disagrees, say la vie. Some things in life are just not meant to be. But for now, it's you and me. Live for today and let the love be free. Look in your eyes, what do I see? A universe is a reflection of we. If I fail to be what you truly seek, won't you please always remember me and our love? Whoa, oh, oh, and our love. This could be my lullaby. To my lover, lift me up so I. This could be my lullaby. To the one who always treats me right. This could be my lullaby. It's so right. Whoa, ow, ow. It feels so right. This could be my lullaby. To my lover, lift me up so I. This could be my lullaby. To the one who always treats me right. This could be my lullaby. It's so right. Whoa, ow, ow. It feels so right.